Alright, so now we're going to be going over the lower leg muscles on the human model. Alright, so we start with this bone right here. This is your tibia. Remember, this is your shin. Alright, so the tibia, the first muscle next to that tibia is called the tibialis anterior. So remember, anterior means in front, and so literally the muscle means in front of the tibia. So that's easy, tibialis anterior. All right, then we kind of roll it over, and next to the tibialis anterior is the extensor digitorum longus. Now, one of the ways that you can find this is your digits, which are the toes. So you take the middle of the toes, trace them straight back, and you're sitting on the extensor digitorum longus. Now, another good thing to remember when doing the leg is that the anterior part of the leg, these are all extensors, and the posterior side of the leg are all flexors. So that will help us out as well. All right, so we've done the tibialis anterior and the extensor digitorum longus. Now our next muscle over is the fibularis. Now, if we can trace that back down, you can actually see the fibula bone poking out at the ankle. So that tells us that's a fibula, so that's the fibularis. All right, now that concludes the extensor side. So now we're going to flip it over to the flexor side. All right, so the first muscle we have back here is the gastrocnemius, and that is both of these muscles. That is that beautiful calf muscle that we all know and love, and it's actually two muscles. That is your gastrocnemius. Now, the next muscle is called the soleus, and this is a large muscle, but it's flat, so it sits up underneath the gastrocnemius. You can see it poking out right here. And then if we go to the other side, you can see it poking out right here as well. And that's going to go all the way down to the sole of the foot. Now, with those new running shoes, the socks that they have now that the runners are using, one of the problems is when you switch from a running shoe to a running sock, the soleus is not long enough. So it has to elongate. So you'll have to go through a good 2 weeks of transition where you could potentially injure that soleus if you're trying to push too hard until it gets used to the new length. All right, the last muscle on the flexor side is the flexor digitorum longus. And notice that it is posterior to that tibia again. All right, so on the flexor side, you have gastrocnemius, the soleus, and the flexor digitorum longus.